Welcome to Crafting Grid. Today I'm going to introduce my first project for the channel, and that's going to be my drift car project. And here, let me go ahead and, there you go. So that's it right there. It's a 91 Toyota Supra. It was a turbo model with the 7M GTE and the 5-speed R154. I blew the motor up on the day that I bought it. Never made it home with the car with that motor running, so I ended up having to get it towed in by a friend. So it's been sitting for many years, but that is a whole story I will tell another day. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be my drift car project, and so it's time to get it running. Like I said, it's been sitting there a long time. I'm super excited to get started on the project. The project is going to be swapping in a 1UZ FE. I've got the motor here. I did a, I guess, half-ass backyard mechanic rebuild on it. Like I said, this project has been years in the making. So, you know, I did what I had to do to get it built and stuff when I didn't have a lot of money. Now I've got some more money available to me, so now I'm actually going to get it done. I'm tired of it sitting. I want to do it. I want to have fun with it. It's going to be a whole thing. So I've got a table full of parts over there that I've ordered over the last couple weeks. I've got a board with all the stuff that I want/need to get done. Need/want to get done, I guess I should say. It's got a few things on there that aren't strictly necessary to get the car running. Obviously, like the first 2 or 3 on there aren't technically necessary to get it running, but I definitely fell into the trap of while I'm in there, I might as well do this, or while I'm in there, I might as well do that. So there's a few things. I do want to get the engine bay cleaned up while it's still out. So, let you take a look at it. It's not super bad, but it's got some work that could get done to it. Like I said, my table full of parts, a bunch of stuff that I've got ordered for it and done. Amazon and eBay provided most of the parts. I ordered some stuff off of Jags, and then because it's a 1UZ swap, I ordered some custom parts from a couple different places. I have a few parts from Excessive Manufacturing. I've got a part from, I think it's called Blake's Machine Products or something like that. I ordered the oil filter relocation plate, adapter plate. That's the engine side. It'll replace this part right here with a plate with the AN fitting hoses on it to go to a remote oil filter mount. It's going to be mated to the W58 transmission. I no longer have the R154. These are all stories I'll tell later, but I'm kind of upset that I no longer have the R154, but it is what it is, and in some ways I think it might be better. Like I said, it is a drift car project, so I'm going to cut as much weight out of it as I can. As you can kind of see through the windows in this thing, the interior is pretty much already stripped out. It's just kind of all in there. As I said before, it's been sitting for years, so I had stripped it all out to work on it before and then stuffed it all back in there to get it up off the ground and out of the way. I'm going to be getting rid of the interior. Don't want it, don't need it. It's just going to add unnecessary weight. I have as I put on the board, I have a completely arbitrary weight goal of under 2,500 pounds for the car. That goal will shift and change as I learn more about the actual weight of the car as it sits. I know I'm shaving some weight in the engine bay by going from the cast iron 7M to the all aluminum 1UZ, but I don't really know what it weighs right now. I know that stock, I think they list somewhere in like 3,600 pounds. So we're talking about losing 1,100 pounds. That's kind of a lot. It's completely arbitrary. I just picked a number. It sounded good to me. I'll make, updates to that goal as it goes. But that's the major project that's going to be happening first on this channel. There's a lot of other little projects I'll be taking care of in my garage here. I've got, some stuff I got to build I went and picked up a bunch of stuff from Harbor Freight recently. Adjustable steel welding table, the welding cart. I picked up a transmission jack and an engine support bar. I've got the crossbeam lift for it there to go on my jack. I've got a let me show you this other stuff. I've got my truck out here that I'll be doing some stuff to. A few of the other projects I've got are my trailer. It's an 18-foot bed trailer, I think 21 or so feet total length. I got this super cheap at a tow yard auction or an impound lot auction. I got it for $75, so every dollar I spent on it is still way under budget for a trailer like this. I've got a new light kit and wiring harness to go on it. I've got to replace the fenders because they're beat up pretty bad. I've got to replace the tires on it because they're not trailer tires. Sorry, that plane was loud. I've got to replace the tires because they're not trailer tires on it. One or two of them are even studded tires. But I bent the landing leg about a week ago, so that needs to be replaced, and I've got a side mount swivel landing leg for it now instead, so it won't stick down. I'll talk about why that got bent here in a few minutes. I've got a 79 C10. I've got a 79 C10 and I want to say 2001 Dodge Durango up there. They both run. The C10 runs, it's just not registered right now because it wasn't running for a long time. As you can see in the back there, maybe you see that. Yeah, in the back there you can see the distributors back there. Yeah, it had a failed fuel pump, and then the person that was driving it kept trying to start it, ended up melting the distributor. I'll talk about that another day too, but I finally got it running, but it's not registered yet, so I parked it up there. And I've got it, like I said, I think it's a 2000 or 2001 Dodge Durango. I got that for free. Somebody was going to get rid of it because they got into a little bit of a front end collision, so it's leaking from the radiator and it's rubbing on the tires, but that can get fixed pretty easy, so I got it for free. And so that'll be an eventual off-road project. Just right now I'm focusing on the car first. I got to get all this wood cut. We just picked this up a week ago, and I just threw it all here to get it out of the way, and that wood back there to get it out of my truck because I needed to use my truck. So we're going to have a whole day where we just split this wood and then stack it in the back. This is my wife's car. It's an 08 Malibu. We'll have some work to do to that too. A few minor things. We're going to do a stereo and security system on it, and I'll record all that. But this driveway, I don't think it comes out real clear on the video, but this is me basically holding the camera level, and that is how far down it goes. It is, I measured it actually earlier today. It is a 20 degrees. The slope on this is 20 degrees from flat. So it's super steep. It is about 80 feet long, but it's super steep. And unfortunately I had the trailer loaded with all that wood, the trailer and the truck loaded with all that wood, and it dragged the landing gear when I backed up on it, and it caught, and then it bent it, and then when I went the other way it bent it some more. But this is my 06 F350. It is the 6-liter diesel, obviously a dually. It's got some work that needs to be done to it. I got to get a new tailgate. It just fell off. Once again, a story for another time. So I got the winch on trade. I traded the dude a GPS navigation car stereo that I had taken out of another car that I had, and he traded me for the winch. It is a 10K winch, which I was pretty happy about. You know, it was a pretty good trade, except for that it was kind of dirty and corroded. It didn't have a case on any of this, so you know, lots of dirt and corrosion. It didn't have a hook. It didn't have a remote. The wires were just cut, which they were just like this, just cut like this. And so rather than pick up another remote for it, I decided I was just going to wire in a wireless remote for it. So I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up one of their Badland wireless remote kits. I cut the end off of it and I started wiring it in, and it worked all fine, except for that the corrosion was making it not work very well. So I decided to clean it up, and that's when I broke the bolt. Of course, these are brass bolts, and so they're kind of difficult to find in that configuration, you know, like this. And so I did find some screws like this from Ace. Focus on there, come on. I don't know why it won't focus. There we go. I found some brass screws like this at Ace Hardware, and I modified it to be more like this. And I soldered it back on. And then I've just got to solder this one back on. And then I'll put it together and I'll record all that so you guys can, I'll go through that with you guys so you can see how these actually go together. This is a Smittybilt 10K XRC. Yeah, the XRC 10 is a Smittybilt XRC 10. So it's got the Apex hook on the end of it there. Oh, dropped one of the screws. It has the Apex, the Harbor Freight Apex hook on it. It wasn't too expensive to buy that. Didn't have a hook on it to begin with, and I like the fact that it's pinned so that I can replace it if I wanted to. Eventually that's going to get replaced with a synthetic line anyway. There's no reason to run steel cable anymore. Synthetics are just the way of the future. But this is what it came with, so I'll use it. So I'll go through that project with you guys too. The project is back here in the back. This is a lathe. It's kind of hard to see and it's kind of dark back here, but that's a lathe. I'll be putting that together and getting to use that. This is my welding cart. It's got a bunch of welders on top of it, a bunch of cheap stuff, I know. Well, actually not. Now it's more expensive stuff than it is cheap stuff. So I've got a EasyMig 140, a Lincoln Electric EasyMig 140. Right now it is on FlexWire, which is how it comes set up because I don't have an argon bottle yet, or argon CO2 bottle yet. These are obviously the cheap Harbor Freight, you know, the 90 amp FlexWire welder and the 70 amp arc welder. And then this is a prime weld. Kind of see it back there. It is a prime weld cut 50 DP. So it's a 50 amp plasma cutter with arc start. So that's nice. And then I've actually got a prime weld, TIG 250, 225 EXT or something like that. I don't know. It's the prime weld 225 amp TIG welder, AC/DC TIG welder. That's actually on the way. So I'm getting rid of these two welders. They're completely unnecessary now because I've got this one set up, and that's another project I had to take care of. Another story I'll talk about another day. I've got that TIG welder coming. I do need to get an argon bottle for it. I do need to get an argon CO2 bottle for the MIG welder. But these two Harbor Freight welders are going to be going away. I don't need them anymore. This is going to be, I'm going to alter this to be a cart to hold the bottles. Excuse me. To hold the bottles on the side of it. So it's going to be a cutting and welding cart. I've got to add in a 100 amp service box in here for the 240 that I need for the welders and the plasma cutters. That one's a 110 welder. The MIG, this Lincoln Electric's a 110 welder, but that plasma cutter runs off of 110 or 240, but the 110 only has like up to 20 amps or something like that, so it's not super powerful. The lathe needs 240 service, the TIG welder needs 240 service, and so I'm going to be hooking up 240 in here by just putting in a 100 amp sub panel so that I can plug that stuff in. So yeah, that's you know, introducing all the projects that I've got going on right now in the garage. So yeah, that's the shop. That's the current projects I've got going on. The major one is the super build. I've got, you know, other projects that I'm going to be doing. I built woodwork stuff, which you saw the saws over on the other side there, and I got wood stacked up against the wall there. I've got some 3D printers in the other room, in the basement room, which I'll be showing that later, but right now it's a mess. It's full of my mom's stuff, so I gotta get that out of there first. But yeah, so I'm gonna be going through all these projects, and I'd be happy to have you guys along. Thanks.